Set 7 is finally live on the servers, so today I'll go through the comps that I've been having the most success with on PB so that you can get right into the game and start climbing right away. The first comp op is going to be Bruiser Sy'Fen. This is absolutely my favorite comp. I've had a ton of fun playing this, and you're going to be running Sy'Fen as your main carry. The first thing to note with this comp is that we are using Whispers. This ability reduces armor and MR of enemy teams and also gives you more damage over time with each auto attack. Therefore, since Sy'Fen is our main carry, we put Rageblade on him so that he can stack more with Whispers. We put BT on him so that he can heal back up because his spell deals a ton of damage. And we also use QSS to make sure that he doesn't get CC'd and that he can keep attacking. Another thing to note with the spell is that he also ignores a ton of armor, so we definitely don't need any Last Whisper or any other form of shred since we get enough through his spell and through the Whispers. You can swap out BT for example, Hodge or Gunblade. Those two can work because Gunblade and BT are both Omnivamp. They work with both AD, AP, and true damage. And you can take out QSS for like another damage item like IE, but I feel like that's not really necessary since we do get enough damage through Whispers. If you get any tank items, then you throw in Arn, and another thing that's also really nice is Zeke's Herald is super nice just to make sure that Sy'Fen gets as high of attack speed as possible just right off the bat. Later in the game, if you are able to get Pike, you definitely want to itemize him, especially if you get him to 2-star, because he can also be a very powerful secondary carry. Now, the only downside to this is that it's a bit expensive, and you don't really want to run 6 Whispers unless you have Pike. So if you don't have Pike, then you'll drop Pike and Thresh. Then you will put in Kench and Illaoi for 6 Bruisers. And then you can choose to keep the Qiyana for 2 Tempest, or you can drop her to play Twitch to give you 1 guild, and with Twitch you gain attack speed, just to get even more attack speed. And then once you hit Pike, you drop the Twitch, Kench, and Illaoi to play Qiyana, Thresh, and Pike to get that 6 Whisper in. And as for the augments, Whisper Heart is really nice because then you can also just drop Qiyana to play Elise to gain 8 Whispers. We're just going to give you an insane amount. Or you can just drop these two to put in more Bruisers, like so. Another augment that's really nice is anything that makes you more powerful as time passes on, like Ascension. You'll basically be unkillable after 15 seconds since he's going to have so many stacks from the Whisper trait. And also Better Together is really nice because Zeke's Herald is really important in this comp. One last thing to note here is that this is actually a level 8 comp, even though we only have 7 units, because the dragons take up 2 slots, and Sy'Fen is a dragon. So this comp is just a standard fast 8 comp, get to level 8, then roll for your entire board 2-star. So the next one up is Mirage. This trait changes per game, so I'll show them here. We have Executioner and Dawnbringer, then some other ones you can pause to read through them. The main thing to keep in mind there is that the itemization of Daeja will depend on the variant. So for example, if you have Dawnbringer, then you don't really want healing, but if you have something like Executioner, then maybe you want healing. I haven't played a ton with every single variation, but in general, if you just put these 3 items on Daeja, you're going to be fine. Because Rageblade just makes sure that she keeps stacking up and attacking faster, QSS to make sure she can't be stopped, and then Deathcap to make her spell deal even more damage. We're also running Nunu as our main tank here, because Nunu can actually deal a lot of damage by eating enemy champions. She works like she did in set 4 and set 5. And also if the Mirage trait is something like Dawnbringer, then she will heal a ton from that trait as well. And if you hit Yasuo later, he's really powerful to round out your comp and to hit 6 Mirage, so definitely itemize him as well if you hit it. As for augments, any Celestial Blessing or Thrill of the Hunt is really nice for Daeja, because then we can just go triple offensive. Anything to do with Mirage, so like +1 Mirage or the Hallucinate one here, that makes you just more tanky overall. And Cybernetic Uplink is also really nice to make sure that she gets more mana, and Nunu also gets more mana, because these 2 casting is really important for this comp. So next up we have Revel Corki, standard past 8 comp here again. You basically just play trainers early, and use Senna as your item carrier into Corki. And with Corki, you want Last Whisper IE, just to make sure that you're dealing as much damage as possible. The Cannoneer proc can also crit, that's why we run IE. With Last Whisper, we're also shredding the armor of all the champions that are getting hit by the Cannoneer Ricochet, which results in everybody dealing more damage to them. That's why Last Whisper is super nice. And then I like Hodge just to get a little bit of healing on him, to guarantee that at least. Ornn here is kind of our main tank. It's important that we have some tank items on him, because we only have 3 tank units. And Namse isn't really a tank until she gets like 3-star. As for augments, you just want anything to buff up Revels or Cannoneer. So for example here, Ricochet is like really nice. It's basically Sharpshooter from the last set. Just increases your damage by a ton. The whole goal here is essentially just to deal as much damage as possible before your frontline breaks, and then hopefully they'll all be clumped together and they'll just get taken out right away. It's a very explosive comp. You'll see this, that sometimes you just delete teams within a couple of seconds. Next up is Ragewing Xayah. Yet again, it's block 7 units, but since we have a dragon, it's a level 8 comp, so definitely want a fast 8 here, especially since Shyvana is an important part of this comp to be your main tank in the late game. Items on Xayah is just raw AD. You can also go Last Whisper with one of these. And the reason for that is that Swift Shot gives us a ton of attack speed, and Ragewing also gives us a ton of attack speed, so we don't need any more like Rageblade or any of that kind of stuff. The only reason why I don't like using Last Whisper on Xayah is because Twitch's spell actually shreds armor. And so if you just put Twitch right next to Xayah, then They'll both attack the same unit, and then Twitch will toss a spell on that unit and shred the armor, which makes her deal more damage. As for augments, anything to buff up Ragewings or Swift Shots is really nice. And you can also go 9 Ragewing if you get an emblem, because then you can put on Twitch. And then you are going to be 7 out of 6 Ragewing, and then you can drop Ashvarus to put in the last 2 Ragewings to get 9 Ragewing in, which is going to be really powerful for Xayah. You're going to get an insane amount of attack speed. Next up is Trainer Tristana. This is very similar to the Corki comp I showed off earlier, but here we're going for a bunch of 3 stars, and especially getting that 4-star Nomsy is going to be also part of our win condition. As for items on Tristana, we want Rageblade so you can get even higher attack speed and proc Cannoneer more often, and then we have Eye and Deathblade because Cannoneer scales off of a percentage of Tristana's attack damage, and with Deathblade the base is even higher, and with Eye it's critting on top of that, so it's just going to be a ton of damage. First, you want to slow roll at level 5 to get, especially to get 3-star Kench. 3-star Senna doesn't matter that much, but it's definitely nice. And then also play Heimerdinger until you get 3-star Nomsy, and then you take him out, and Tristana and Lulu are going to be enough to get 4-star Nomsy in a couple of turns after that. Then once you get 3-star Kench, you go to level 6, and then you 3-star all the units that I've marked here with 3-star. But you don't really care about Senna, and you don't really care about Jinx. Getting your frontliners to 3-star and Tristana to 3-star is really important. You can also go for Lulu as well, but it's going to be pretty hard to do. As for augments, anything to do with the Cannoneers is really nice. Revel is not super important here because Tristana is not a Revel. It's just that a lot of Revel units are also Cannoneers, so naturally we just get a ton of it. And then we play Sona for Evokers with Lulu, so that these two can get more mana and also give us more utility. Any healing augments are super nice since we don't have a healing item on Tristana. And then Weak Spot as well is nice so that we don't get stuck on any tanks since we don't have Last Whisper. Yeah, you can also cut the Deathblade for Last Whisper if you need that in the current lobby. Alright, next one up is Guild Ryze. I have already made a video on the guild trait, so I'll make that pop up in the top right corner or leave a link to it. But essentially the trait gives a bunch of different bonuses and it doubles for guild units like Ryze. So here he's getting a ton of AP and attack speed and health through the guild trait. And then he also has 3 mage, so he casts twice. Essentially the way Ryze works is that he scales every time he casts. His mana gets increased, but he also deals more damage with every cast. So therefore we want Sojin and Rageblade so that he can actually cast once he gets like 100 on 120 mana. And then we have Archangel to just further scale up into the fight. Essentially the way you win with this, you get to level 8, play this board, and then try to 3-star Ryze from there. You never want to go level 9 unless you have 3-star Ryze. And then you use Hecarim as your main tank. If you get a bunch of AD items, you can also toss those on Talon to make him kind of like an AD carry. As for augments, anything to do with guilds is super nice here, just to further increase the bonus and to buff up your team, and also with the emblem that you can only get from Tomo traits, which is why that's also recommended here. That will bring you Omnivamp, which is really nice since we don't have healing on Ryze. And then also Celestial Blessing and Thrill of the Hunt is also super nice too, because we don't really have a slot here for like Gunblade or BT. Next one up is Assassin Diana. It's a reroll comp, much like any other assassin comp like Talon from the last set. Here we have Diana 3-star, Kiana 3-star, and Lilia 3-star. Those are the only ones we care about. Until we hit Pike, we play Kayn, and then you drop Ornn and Silas, and then you play this board at level 6 and with 4 assassins and 2 cabs. And then once you get to level 8 after you hit your 3-star Diana, you put in Silas, and then you put in Ornn as well. Although these 2 units can change based on which augments you get. Like here you can, for example, drop Ornn to play the Kayn. As for items on Diana, she's an assassin, so we always want IE so the spell can crit and so that we're maximizing our damage. Titans is really nice because she becomes super tanky, and with her shield, she will gain a lot more effective HP, especially if we have max Titans. She also scales off of both AP and AD, so just again, even more damage from Titans is nice because we get both AD and AP from that item. And then we use BT to heal ourselves up. And again, BT is now Omnivamp from all damage sources, so it heals off of both AP, AD, and true damage. And then after you got your Diana items, throw your tank items on Lilia, and then you can throw additional IEs on Pike and Talon. Kiana's kind of utility, so you don't really want to itemize her with damage because she disarms with her spell. As for augments, if you get like +1 assassin or Scalescorn, then you can drop either Silas or Ornn for 6 assassins or 4 Scalescorn. And then preparation is really nice whenever you're playing reroll or the Pandora's bench, because with preparation, you're going to be getting more damage as the units are waiting on your bench. And then once you combine to the 2-star or 3-star, they gain all the stacks and get way more damage. And Pandora's box is kind of going to just help you hit the 3 stars earlier. Next one up is Guild Talon. This is very similar to the Guild Ryze comp I showed earlier. With Talon, we got IE, BT, and Last Whisper. IE and Last Whisper to make sure we're always critting, and though we're shredding the armor of the people we are attacking. And then BT to heal ourselves up. With Talon, he drops aggro, so you don't really need QSS or Edge of Night or anything like that. We're using Hecarim as our main tank here. He's a Cavalier, and we get 1 Cavalier through Sejuani. And then you also just fill in another Cavalier here with Nunu. Although you can, for example, here drop Nunu to get in for assassins due to depending on the augments you get. And then you play basically any assassin just to activate the trait, although Pike late game is what you want to end up with because he can be a very powerful secondary carry. As for the other augments, just anything that buffs up assassins or anything that buffs up guild is really nice. Next up is going to be Vietnami. It's all about getting the 3 stars in this one when Nami as your main carry. You go for 3-star Nami, Lilia, Vladimir, and you can also go for Sejuani as well. You slow roll at level 6, then you also want to keep 3 Astral active at level 6 to get 3-star Vladimir, because he's going to be really important as your main tank here. Essentially, the way this comp works is that Nami just heals up your entire team and also deals damage with her spell, and so it's kind of like a stall comp, because Nami also has Archangels, so we're kind of playing into that, making this comp stall for as long as possible. And the healing also heals up the Cavaliers, and the Cavalier trait gives them a bunch more resistances, so it kind of works. So then Nami gives them a lot more effective HP through her healing. Then once you get to level 8, you want to add in a 5 mage, so then you add in Zoe and Ryze as well. Then you add in Bard as well late game, because he's just incredibly powerful. As for the augments, you pretty much just want anything to buff up mages or Cavaliers, or to give your team more mana like Cybernetic Uplink. I forgot to add those, I'll do that in the Imgur album later. So the next one up is going to be Yone Reroll. Yone is really powerful. He works kind of like Kale from set 3 and set 4, where he scales off of both AD and AP. Because the way his spell works is that one attack deals extra AD, and then the next attack deals extra AP, and then it goes back and forth. So he scales purely off attack speed. Therefore, we want RFC, because he's a melee carry, to make sure he can stay behind the backline here. And then we have Rage Blade, so he can just keep attacking faster, keep scaling, like Kale would. And then you have BT here just to heal up. Although if you get stuff like Celestial Blessing or Thrill of the Hunt, you can take this out for another damage item like IE, or you can go QSS for even more attack speed. You slow roll at level 6 and you go for 3-star Braum, Thresh, and Yone. And if you hit Leona 3-star, you can go for it, but these are your main 3 priorities. And then once you hit those 3 stars, you go to level 8, put in Idas. She's a very powerful Guardian. And with 4 Guardian here, she's going to give a ton of shielding through her trait because it scales off of her HP. But Braum is incredibly tanky with the shield, so you want to put items, tank items on him. But if you don't hit Braum 3-star, you want to move the items over to Idas once you hit that, if you hit Yone 3-star really early or something like that. Now there are some options here. You can definitely drop this Ornn for 6 Guardians. If you get Guardian Heart, you can play the Taric for 6 Guardians. Or here, like we have Mirage Heart, you can go for 4 Mirage. Warrior Heart, you can go for 4 Warriors by adding in another Warrior instead. You have a ton of options here. The Ornn is kind of the flexible unit in this comp. And then lastly, we have kind of a bonus comp here. I haven't really played this, but I've seen other people play it. That's why I kind of call it like the bonus, the 11th comp here. With Dragon Alliance and Dragon Horde, the Dragon trait remains active, because here it's actually supposed to just be, it's only active if you have 1 dragon, but here it remains active if you have multiple. And then you also get, all the dragons get a bunch more power with this, so if you get one of these augments, you can go for like a dragon comp. I like running Sy'Fen as the main carry, basically like Whisper Sy'Fen, but here we're running Gunblade to heal up the other dragons as well. And then we're running Idas as our main tank, and then Xiaoyu as our kind of like a secondary carry slash secondary tank. With these dragons, you're going to get a free dragon, so it'll be easier to transition into this comp just naturally based on the augments, but you definitely want to fast 8 with this and then roll for this comp 2-star. It is a little expensive, but it is doable, and it is very powerful if you do end up hitting it, especially if you get multiple of these dragon augments. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and also join the Discord, and that will be linked down in the description, and all of these will also be in an Imgur album that will also be linked down in the description. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.